particular order, I want to welcome you all to this evening that's going to celebrate unique individuals in our culture who promote values, who promote universal values that derive from the Torah, from the Jewish people, from the Bible. And this is something we do every year. It took us 7 years to reach Carnegie Hall. So a big hand for Carnegie Hall. Now, behind me, one of the honorees tonight, directly behind me, is Sir Clive Gillinson. He's not just a world-renowned musician, he's the creative, artistic, and a director of Carnegie Hall, the chief executive of Carnegie Hall. And up until now, he had a nice, beautiful, quiet life until I entered it. And since then, they now know him around this building as long-suffering Clive. And Clive and Anya married on December 1st of last year. So our dear friend Anya is now Lady Anya Gillinson. It's a pleasure to mazel tov to you and Clive. And I had the unique honor of performing their wedding ceremony. Little did Clive realize that I'd be like the three of us in this marriage at all times. Okay? But Anya is a woman of incredible Jewish pride, proudly wearing her Magen David at all times. You have the most amazing mother, Galina, and your husband was a world-renowned heart surgeon who lived in the Soviet Union, was very close to the Soviet leaders, very proud Jew, and he loved America. His dream was to come to America. And then he arrives in America on his first ever trip, and he loses his life in a robbery. It's not to be believed. And you raise your children on your own. You raise them to be such proud, incredible Jewish women. One is a ballerina at the Bolshoi Ballet in Russia, and the other is now is an attorney, and that is Anya. And I was honored to do this wedding. So I've always loved Carnegie Hall. I've begged Clive to perform here for many, many years, but I can't play an instrument, so it's a little bit challenging. I thought I would sing. So this is as close as we're going to get to Carnegie Hall, hosting the 7th annual Champions of Jewish Values International Awards Gala here at Carnegie Hall. So, thank you very much. At least someone's excited about this. So, and while we're going to go upstairs soon to our dinner, I just want to quickly acknowledge our principal honorees. I'm only going to, so no one is more important than another person, but thank God they're all lined up, so it makes it very easy. To my extreme right, and your extreme left, is an Academy Award winner, Golden Globe winner, the world-famous, indefatigable, absolutely incredible John Boyd. Standing to his right is the immediate past spokesperson for the United States military globally, the chief Pentagon spokesperson, Dana White. We are so honored to have you here tonight, Dana. What an honor to be the face of the U.S. military, and you just came with us to Israel. Dana's a phenomenal friend of Israel and the Jewish people, and we're so grateful for your coming from Washington with your brother David, who's here somewhere. And we hope you're enjoying that wonderful Israeli wine. Not the kosher wine, twice the price, half the taste. We're talking the Israeli wine. Okay. To Dana's right is an incredible man who's one of our chief honorees tonight, very special friend, a man who has been charged by the President of the United States with the, quote, ultimate deal, the ultimate deal. And let me first say, Jason Greenblatt is the chief Middle East negotiator of the United States of America. Let's have a hand for Jason, please. If we can only get Jason to tell us what's in the plan, God willing, then this dinner will make such global news, it'll be unbelievable. So Jason, why don't I give you the microphone, tell us the plan, and then we'll all go for dinner, okay? I mentioned Galina, I mentioned Anya, I mentioned Sir Clive Gillinson. And Clive, let me tell you, I've come to some concerts here. This deserves to be the world's most famous concert hall. It is the world's most famous concert hall. But you comport yourself with so much humility you would never know. You are almost as humble as I am. And that's saying a lot. And then to Clive's immediate right is our two dinner co-hosts. First, David Sterling, a nationally famous philanthropist who has just joined the AIPAC National Board as of Sunday. I was there with you minutes before you joined because we were together at 11:58 p.m. Saturday night at the AIPAC Policy Conference. And then you went from being, it's like you changed overnight. But we thank you for everything you do for the Jewish people in Israel and the wider community and all of your philanthropy. And then his dinner co-host, Simon Fallick, who God willing is here with many other members of the Fallick family. I need not elaborate on the Fallick family's global philanthropy. They are one of the most recognized Jewish families in the world for the outstanding good they do on every level, in the fields of medicine, in the fields of fighting anti-Semitism, in the fields of WITSO, where your wife just finished her term as national co-president, and the incredible work they do for children throughout the world. And your mother, who is the emeritus, here's your mother, the emeritus international chairperson of the FIDF, the Friends of the IDF. No, the Fallick family they've got like a monopoly running all of America's biggest Jewish charities. We're gonna have to use like anti-monopoly legislation. That's how much good they do. They just do so much good throughout the world and especially in Israel. And then Paula Farris is here from ABC. I just did her show, which I greatly enjoyed, about faith. Thank you for joining us. And we are waiting, although we might just have to go to dinner soon, but we are waiting for our main honoree of the evening, Marion Wiesel, wife of Elie Wiesel, who is receiving the Adelson Family Light of the Jewish People Award tonight, God willing. And we look forward to hosting her, as well as Larry Kudlow, who's chairman of the National Economic Council. But ladies and gentlemen, I brought you all here for a very special ceremony. It's not a wedding. Although I've got a lot of daughters and sons that need to get married, so if you have any suggestions, by all means. If we could do a twofer. Please, don't mention weddings in Carnegie, because then Clive is going to be sure I'm calling him next week. Clive, I got to do a wedding in Carnegie. And he's going to suddenly move to Malawi somewhere. We won't be able to find him. Okay. We have a very special ceremony. I want to ask members of the Eckstein family to please come here. We give two kinds of awards at the International Champions of Jewish Values Gala. Thank God our awards are given to living men and women. But we occasionally give awards that are awarded posthumously for people who've made an outstanding contribution to values, Jewish life, Israel. Last year, and we separated it into two. We give the posthumous awards at the receptions. We give the other awards at our dinner. Last year, we gave a posthumous award to Yoni Netanyahu, the famous hero of Entebbe, who was received by the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. And we also gave a posthumous award to Taylor Force, the great American hero, who West Point graduate, served in Afghanistan and Iraq, who was murdered by a terrorist in Tel Aviv, and the Taylor Force Act was passed in his name. This year, we present an award to Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein, who passed away approximately 6 weeks ago. Is it about 6 weeks ago? Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein was the pioneer of Jewish-Christian relations in our time. When he started reaching out to evangelical Christians in Chicago, maybe 3 decades ago, he was vilified by people who did not understand that Jews and Christians could become such close friends. He ended up revolutionizing that relationship and creating the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, which till today raises about $150 million a year in small donations from almost an entirely Christian donor base throughout the United States. And that money is distributed to social welfare in Israel, to IDF soldiers and their welfare, to building bunkers to save Israelis from being fired on by rockets from Hezbollah or Hamas, building hospitals, building schools, supporting security of Jewish organizations throughout the world, including in Europe and the former Soviet Union. And your father was a true revolutionary, and he was my very dear friend. And Yechiel and I really loved each other and had this very deep bond. And 2 days before he passed away, he came to our son's bar mitzvah at the Psagot Winery. We're only serving Psagot tonight because it's my favorite wine. The Psagot Winery is owned by the Fallick family, and it's won so many international awards. There is an attempt now to boycott Psagot simply because these wines are made in the ancient biblical lands of Judea and Samaria. But that can never change how good it tastes, Simon. It only makes it taste better. So we only serve psagot, and we've had many family celebrations at psagot. And Rabbi Eckstein got up and he spoke at our son's bar mitzvah. And I sat with him throughout my son's bar mitzvah. And he was telling me how after 35 years of nonstop work, he wanted to take it a little bit easier. And his children were getting involved in the organization. And how he was going to semi-retire. And then I was in Washington, D.C. 2 days later, coming back from Israel, and I heard that he had passed away, and I was shocked. There are very few people in the Jewish world and the Christian world who have done as much good. He was a true pioneer. So for the first time ever, we are awarding our champion of Jewish-Christian relations to Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein, who died at 68 years old, 67 years old, very unexpectedly. We have his brother and his daughter. We couldn't be more grateful that you're here tonight. And we have the award. And if I can present this to you. We know that the good works that someone does are never forgotten. So this is the Tree of Life, and it commemorates the infinite, untold number of good works that your father did, and that's part of that Tree of Life. And they're forever, and they can never be forgotten, they can never be denied, and his memory should be an eternal blessing to you. And I was going to ask you both if you would just say a few words, and because we couldn't be more moved to be one of the first organizations to commemorate Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein's incredible legacy. And I want you all finally to know that Rabbi Eckstein and I used to speak all the time just about our shared experience and what it was like to sometimes be misunderstood. I started reaching out to our Christian brothers and sisters and non-Jews and our Muslim brothers and sisters at Oxford. We had tons of Muslim students, Christian students, atheists, and people didn't know what I was doing. They thought Jewish organizations exist in order to connect Jews. So we were both mutually misunderstood, often vilified, and that's how our friendship started, but it went well beyond that. And he's one of the great men of our generation, and if you'd like to please give us some remarks, we'd be very honored.
Thank you very much. I have one thought, maybe two. On behalf of the Eckstein family, I want to thank you. Yechiel, my brother, had many angels that helped him on his journey. Couldn't have done it on his own. And he had friends that became those angels that helped him. To see the phalanx behind me, you guys had a really special love for each other. You really did. You were always by his side. Shmuley, as a friend, he trusted you, he looked up to you, and you helped him. And without people, his friends and people he worked with, he couldn't have done it. My brother was a man similar in a different way to a sulam, to a ladder. He was grounded on the earth, but he really had his sights and dreams in Shemayim, in the sky, and he really had fulfilled his dreams of seeing Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, people around the world. He had a tremendous love for everyone around the world, as you do, and you bring people together, and that is exactly what my brother would have loved and what he cherished about your relationship.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm very sorry for your loss. I know how much your father loved his three girls. He used to talk about you guys to me all the time. You guys were fathers of a lot of daughters, something we always would discuss. So his memory should be an eternal blessing, and we're so grateful to have you here tonight, and I hope that you'll cherish this award as a recognition on the part of the world Jewish community for the incalculable good that he did. I really don't know of almost anyone that has done as many mitzvahs. I think I was speaking at a week's dinner in Miami where he was there being honored, and I said, no man has done many more mitzvahs in their lifetime than Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein. So God bless you. And the final thing we're going to do before we go upstairs, I want to ask my friend Scott Pekarsky, who does endless work for our organization, just to speak about why this organization is important, and we're all going to have dinner upstairs. And I'm still waiting for Marianne Wiesel. I really wanted to get a picture with her, but I hear that she's on her way. So thank you very much, Scott.
Thank you, Shmuley. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thank you for coming. I came on board about 10 years ago as General Legal Counsel to the World Values Network, and I've worked very closely with the organization, with Shmuley. I guess we started with a battle with a local planning board, and it's morphed into many other matters on behalf of the organization. I guess I've sent a lot of nasty letters to a lot of powerful people. I've enjoyed every moment of it. Shmuley's a fighter, and I'm a fighter in the same vein. But we're here because with this organization, we all need to protect our heritage, and we all need to support and ensure the safety and longevity of the State of Israel. We all need to fight hatred against all people, along with anti-Semitism. Of course, hatred and anti-Semitism has no place in the civilized world. Folks, that's what the World Values Network does, that's what Shmuley does. And the organization does a lot of terrific programs here in Manhattan and around the world. This past year, some tremendous panels and programs with the likes of Alicia Wiesel and Brett Stevens, who, as you know, are major intellects of our day. The organization does powerful advertising and promotion in the New York Times and the Washington Post, and doing this by way of Shmuley and the World Values Network gives us all strength in numbers. So I thank you all for coming. Please support us, and everyone enjoy your evening. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Shmuley.
I couldn't have said it better myself.